I'd like to go back to the very beginning. He will actually tell you his own story because I think we have different areas of, of different ways of looking at this. He approached me sometime, I think about 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
About 3 years ago, after one of our conferences where we met, at a conference I, organized, and he approached me that his church was going to turn 150 years.
Yes.
Can you imagine 150 years? And he wanted me to come. The Lord told him that I should organize a crusade. A crusade. And I'm like, oh, wow. Me? Of course, trust you. Trust me as well. I dodged. I really tried to get out of it. But I had, the Lord say, go on and do this. And I asked him where he was. He said, Igbo-Elerin. If you're like me and you grew up in Ibadan, you would know Igbo-Elerin Grammar School back in our own days, as in that was one school that everybody kind of feared. Not for anything, but come, and I'm happy we're even actually doing this now. Because one thing we remember Igbo-Elerin Grammar School for is their march past on October 1. So when he said Igbo-Elerin, I was inquisitive. I'm like, you mean the school is still existing, blah, blah, blah. And he said, yes, that was actually the church that gave back to that school. So I decided to go for this crusade, which was amazing. People came from far and wide. They, walked through bushes to get there. But I noticed that people were buying water. And I was surprised. I asked him, do you mean you don't have any water in this area? And he said something to me. He said, Ma, if you go into the books of Oyo State, you will see we have, in their books, we have electricity. We have, pipe-borne water. Everything is available. But yet, these villagers were buying water. Now, if you saw the people that I saw, you know that it was not easy for them to come up with money to buy this basic human, necessity. So I just prayed to God on that crusade ground that God, it was in November, right?
Yes.
I said, I would love to sink a borehole for these people by Christmas. Mind you, I didn't have any money on me. I had my account balance at that time was almost nil. I went back to Lagos. It was just a sitting room meeting, prayer meeting. A friend of mine, God bless her, just said to me, Remi, the Lord said I should give you this. And she sat on my dining table and wrote me a check for $1,000. I took that money. At that time, I didn't remember that I wanted to do borehole. But I have this habit. I always keep my money somewhere and ask the Lord what I should do with the money. And lo and behold, I was there thinking, I'm going to pay my tailor. It's almost Christmas, blah, 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 blah. And then the Lord just reminded me, Remi, Igbo-Elerin, the water project. And that was how this journey started. I quickly called him, changed the dollars the following day, transferred to him, and that was how this journey that we are about to talk to you about started. But I'd like to know, Reverend, if you were asked to tell us how this started for you, what would be your version of this?
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Good day, everyone. Based on what you said, it actually started as a need in the entire community. We go so far as 2, 3, 4, 5 kilometers to get just a jerrycan of water. Apart from payments, covering long distances to get this water, and at the same time, some of the water are not even good in the first place. And then some of the, because we have farmers in rural areas, some of them processes food. And with this unclean water, sometimes they go to the potholes around the road, extract water from there, scoop it out, and take it, to where they are processing oil, probably gari, and all those things. And all these things are sold to the urban areas, thereby to be increasing diseases, sicknesses, and all that. But the most difficult aspect is during the dry season, everywhere is dried up, everywhere. So very difficult to get water to cook, water to bathe, water to wash, and all that. So everything started, with prayers, trusting God that He's going to intervene at one time or the other. Now, like you rightly said, the crusade was held in 2019, prophetic conference, and that was Jos. I was at the back during the period of the conference. It was during the break. And then the voice came to me, go and meet Mrs. Remi and invite her for the crusade. At first I was, she's busy. How can I go and trouble her this time? I wanted to turn back again. The voice said, go back now. About 3 or 4 times. So I just decided, okay, ma, this is what I'm led to tell you. So I just delivered the message. And she said, okay, after the crusade, we'll be able to see. And that was how everything went. Until I received her call that now she's ready, even for the water. So that's the little I can say about that. But during the period of the crusade, like she said, she saw everything and the needs were very real. And lo and behold, she promised that by the grace of God, something will be done. And that's how the journey started.
Thank you. I think what is interesting is the fact that in my mind, I just wanted them to have a borehole. And I said, I would love to, I remember I told you, okay, so many things went into this. We had to get a company to discover where water is, so we could pinpoint where we'll get most water. We had plumbers coming, we had geologists coming. Anyway, we had all the people that would ensure that we get the kind of volume that we need. And that was done. Once that was done, we had the budget, of course. And the budget that we had could only cover just, sinking the borehole and then maybe providing a couple of taps for the villagers to actually, fetch water. And I think we also did the pumping machine.
Yes. So okay, let me add something there. We were able to sink the borehole with the $1,000.
Yes.
Back then it was $357,000. And
you
we're
want
able
people
to
get upset today. Did you hear that? In 2019, $1,000 was $357,000. Today is over 1 million.
Yes.
So just to put it in perspective.
Yes. So when we got the money was later sent. But meanwhile, you had someone, a contractor who was to carry out the project here in Lagos. The demand was extremely very high. So he told us that, can we look around Oyo State if we can get people that can sink the borehole? And we went round and finally we got someone to take 360 to get the something done. And lo and behold, that was how we were able to get the borehole sunk over there. So it was now remaining installations.
Thank you. Now, I don't want to lose that part of this story. The part of the story I don't want us to lose is the fact that I live in Lagos and I called the people I know in Lagos. By the time they gave us the bill, it was a lot. And he was able to get someone locally that did the job. Oftentimes, we don't look at our immediate environment to get things done. We believe that the best people will come from Lagos, the best people will come from Abuja, the best people will come. But really, if you look hard, you see people in your environment that would actually do the things that you need to do. Anyway, so that was phase 1. But I told him something. I said, please, the day you get water off the ground, I need you to do a video for me. And I was in the United States. I was with a friend of mine, or friends of mine. This couple, they are both medical doctors. And I've been going to their house at that time, for over 10 years. And that particular day, I was in their kitchen. We were also just talking around the table, and his message came in. So when I saw his message that we got water today, and I saw the picture of water or the video of water gushing out of, and the villagers actually, praying, smiling, dancing. In fact, I had tears in my eyes. And Akifatoki was in the kitchen. He said, Remi, what's going on? I said, you need to come and see this. I now told him the story. I now said, oh, I went to this place for a crusade, blah, blah, blah. But I noticed that he stopped. He was just there looking at me, so surprised. He was like, so I'd finished, and he said to me, you went to Igbo-Elerin? I said, yes. Remi, you went to Igbo-Elerin? I said, yes, I went to Igbo-Elerin. What's the big deal? He said, so you don't know that I am from Igbo-Elerin? And he was so, in fact, that particular day, I still remember till today, because he was actually happy for the villagers.
Yes.
But he was so touched and moved and dissatisfied with himself. And he said to me, Remi, it took you to go from Lagos to my hometown to sink a borehole for my people. And there and then, he called like 3 or 4 people. Within 1 hour, he got pledged up to $2,000. I sent a message to Reverend that, please, the person I'm staying with here, incidentally, is from Igbo-Elerin. And there was a prophecy that came up at the crusade, that the children that are abroad will come home and do things in the space. And that was what started all this. So from that initial $2,000 that was put together then, I will now hand over the story to Reverend, because I did my bit and this thing just caught on like a wildfire. Can you tell us how the progression, the first one we did, when we got the $2,000, we now said, okay, we need to put in solar. So those boreholes now are being powered by solar energy. I think we should go on a short break. And when we come back, we'll tell you the trajectory and how this has caught on, not just from Igbo-Elerin, but many villages even out of Oyo State. Welcome back. So, Reverend, can you tell us what you've done so far since that first one at Igbo-Elerin? What's the journey been like?
All right. Like you made mentioned that some of the friends from the diaspora decided to support the project. What happened then was that they promised sinking additional 4, that they are going to back you up and support what you started, and it won't end there, but they will add other things, to it. So from there, where at Bangbola was where you helped with the siting of the first borehole. But I would like to add a few additions there. Money was sent for the installation of the borehole. The plumber came from Lagos and got everything installed. But meanwhile, back then, we were not thinking of solar. So it was electricity-powered pumping machine that was installed. So, and it also happened, that was 2020. And then it was difficult for churches to operate. Likewise, many other businesses were stopped. So lo and behold, it was now difficult to get fuel to power the generator for the pumping of the water. So along the line, everything seems to stop. So we were back to the first phase of going around to look for water. Now, along the line, you got the message from somewhere else, not directly from me, that we're not able to access water there, and you were really touched. In fact, you were so offended that why should people be allowed to continue suffering, to, get water? So I said, well, this is what is on ground. He said, I would have contacted, at least if it is to get some fuel available or something, but he said, you get back to us. And within a short time, you called back. You said, can we get someone to put up solar quotations and all that, so that we can change from the electricity powered pumping machine to solar powered pumping machine? We got someone, and the estimate there was about 600,000, which you gave the money, you and your husband, and then that's how we started the whole thing. So at Bangbola, we're able to have a solar powered, borehole still functioning. Well, and then it has grown up to 11 now. Now in Oyo State, we have Bangbola, Kushela, Oyedeji, Balogun, Alade, Agbedo, Ogundepe, and Ilikuroville areas or communities. So we have 7 of them there. At Ogun State, we have around Itori area, Oluke, Obanlado, Alarere, and Ogabieredo. So we have 3 installed there in Ogun State, and also in Osun State we have 1, and that is around Isaleoja area, Ijebu-Jesha. So making a total of 11 boreholes now. 3 in Ogun State, 1 in Osun State, and 7 in Oyo State.
This is quite commendable. It's amazing. I must say to you, you must know that I really don't have any hand in the other 10. The only one I participated in terms of, financially, was the first one that was done at Bangbola. I did not get involved financially with the other ones, even though we provided, maybe some technical support and all that, and that's it. Some of them were refurbished, but I would like to ask, and you've said one of them, that and these are significant milestones as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if there's any that you want to talk to us about, and that you as a person remembers as this is a milestone in this journey. Is there anyone that really resonated with you when it happened, that you forever remember that this is the moment?
Well, I will simply say all of them. Not one is left out, because if you go to communities where they are in need of water, you will discover that it's like they are in need of every other thing. Without water, they cannot cook, they can't wash their clothes, they are not able to process their foods. Everything seems, paused for them, and even quite difficult. So water is actually very important, and at the same time, all the communities, all of them are memorable. You always see them happy, jumping, rolling on the ground.
Yeah.
You'll just be shocked and surprised at what that little thing that we don't give value to, what it meant into the lives of these people and the communities. So that's how all of them are memorable, all of them are commendable, all of them. None have been, out of place. All of them are commendable.
So one of the things that we deal with as people is the human factor.
Yes.
And I remember that one of the issues that we discussed back when we were about to do the fall is how to sustain this momentum, how to actually have these projects be
an ongoing,
self-sustainable and all that. What are the challenges that you faced?
Okay, about challenges, first of all, finance was actually the main and the major challenge, because if you have the money with you, you can do almost everything. But finance being a major challenge, so it has held back so many things from being done. But having people supporting here and there, it made it easy to be able to mobilize the people around and get the jobs done. So, but we have a number of other challenges like access roads. Some of the roads are, very, very difficult to tread with vehicles. And the companies that we contacted to come and dig the boreholes, they have very large vehicles that are not able to pass through marshy areas or places that are not balanced. So what we ended up doing is to get the villagers involved. Sometimes trees will be very close to the road, forming a kind of umbrella. So we have to call the villagers together that come around. We have to trim off all these things, level the roads, even pour some things like charcoal and other things where there are potholes, the places that are slippery. So they leveled all those areas. So access road, one of the challenges, but we involved, the community members. Another area that I would like to touch involve the miscreants. They do come around once they see the vehicle of these people digging boreholes.
Even though you are doing something for them.
Yes, even if it is for them. They will now begin to call themselves here and there. You just saw, very shockingly, within 10 minutes, you can count about 100 of them.
Wow.
And they will demand for money. That before these people get this project done, they have to be settled. Wow. That they've collected so much money from the people who wanted them to come in, and thereby they must be settled even before digging of the borehole. So at such times, we have to plead with them, beg them, or when they are very difficult to control, we involve security operatives. So the security operatives, once they come around, they'll be able to drive them back and let the people have, their jobs done. So that's one of the challenges. Another one I've mentioned earlier is generators. So, and that has been taken care of by solar. So all the 11 boreholes mentioned, they're also solar powered. None is powered by generators. So the other challenges, they are sometimes, I can call them maybe minor. It involves the damage to the completed borehole. Sometimes maybe a tap being removed or pipe broken or something of that nature, of which with the people around the community, they call themselves together. This is something minor, we can do it. They'll get a plumber to get those things fixed, and that is done. Sometimes because sometimes we do have storm in areas where there are no trees protecting, sometimes blows off those solar panels. So we get in touch with those who installed it, that please go back there and get these things installed. And the community members put money together to pay for the transport and also for the work. So that is done. But the third one that I would like to mention in line with this is sometimes because of where we, installed the borehole, the ground there sometimes used to close up and at the same time hold back the pumping machine. So if the pumping machine begins to work so hardly, it will get burnt. Okay. So when it gets burnt, it will dissolve the entire wire up to the top. So we had that in 3 different locations now. But what we did was to come around there and, identify the problems. One of them happened at Alade, another one at Ogabierido, and then the 3 areas in Ogun State. So we had to get new set of pumps for them and remove the old ones and install new ones. So we now got more professionals on the, because we have a consortium. So we got more professionals who advised that maybe once in 2 years, the pump should be brought out, cleaned up, and then probably the hole should be cleaned again, and then get it reinstalled. So once that is done, then we are rest assured that we are going to have that for a very long time. So these are some of the challenges that I can recall now.
Wow, thank you so much, Reverend. I would like to actually ask, every one of us to think about the challenges that he spoke about. Some of these challenges are things that we really don't need to deal with. They are environmental issues, they are personal issues, they are human resource issues, they are, cultural issues. I used to think that it's only in Lagos that we have good boys, but it seems we have good boys everywhere. And they are really very good boys. But if peradventure we have any good boy out there listening to me, please, these people didn't collect any money. As a matter of fact, I've seen Reverend worked tirelessly. There was a particular incident that he had to leave where he was to travel to the other location, and it wasn't easy for him to get there, and he did everything. Even till today, to my knowledge, we've not given him 1 naira. So, and everybody is kind of contributing to this from the little that we have. So it's not a government, sponsored project. We don't have any funding coming from any NGO. These are just people coming together, both from Nigeria and in diaspora, and giving their best to actually make, life easy for other people. So please, when you see them, don't assume that they've given them dollars, and as such you have to, tax them. It's a bit discouraging. People that live outside Nigeria don't even understand how we can do such things. They're like, we're trying to help. How come you are going to delay the people that are coming to help your community? So please, let's be a bit more sensitive. And I would like to call on the professionals out there. You heard what he said in terms of, the solar panels, the pumping machine getting burnt. If there are other ways we can do this, that we can actually get this thing done and used for longer, please let us know. We have numbers at the bottom, or you can email us at the email that is showing on the screen to get us, advise us. And if you want to sponsor, we'll talk about that at the end. Please, we encourage us all to be part of this.